Hello everyone, this is part 1 of What If Naruto Left Konoha and Awakens Lava and Boil release. This story is made by G3R Man, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to see more comment down below. Naruto announced to a slack-jawed Jiraiya. What? What do you mean you refuse? I'm not going training with you, I have other things to do. Naruto explained to the sage, he refused to go on the 2-year training trip. He had other things to do than waste his time with this pervert, he had to learn how to control it, he had to learn how to harness it. If he could do that, then he would make his mother, the Uzumaki clan, and the lost Whirlpool country proud, and he would do it. How can you have better things to do than train with the Toad Sage of Konoha? Naruto shrugged, this guy could get on someone's nerves. I said no, goodbye Jiraiya. Naruto jumped off the roof of the Hokage building, leaving behind a shocked Toad man. Naruto ran through the streets and saw the looks of disgust and hatred that most villagers directed at him. He ignored them, as far as he was concerned, Konoha was dead to him. They never did anything for him, even when he tried so hard to earn their respect, all they did was spit on him. Not for much longer though. Naruto arrived home and got out of the orange jumpsuit that had begun to make him cringe at the very sight of it. Sure, he liked orange and all, but not a full jumpsuit of it, he needed something else, luckily he already found something. Naruto walked into his bedroom and looked around, everything seemed so plain, so normal. He smirked, looks could always be deceiving. From the door, he walked to the center of the room and knelt down to what appeared to be just another wooden plank in the floorboard. He cut his finger and pressed it onto the wood, it lit up the darkened room for a few seconds before an unlatching sound could be heard and Naruto moved the plank out of the way. Inside of the small opening was a box, or a bunch of smaller boxes that Naruto had only looked at a few times before, but today, he would look through each. He reached down and picked each of them out one at a time, in a way he felt like a kid getting Christmas presents. The only thing he had actually opened before was the letter on top of the first box, and Naruto thought to reread it before beginning. The letter was worn from age, but it held the definite Uzumaki seal, the seal of his mother's clan. He opened the letter again and read each word slowly and carefully, making sure he understood what his mother was telling him before delving any deeper into his clan's past. Naruto, if you are reading this message, then I am dead. We asked the third if he would give you this apartment specifically when you could live on your own, so I know that you will find this letter someday. I am your mother, Uzumaki Kushina, and I have some things to tell you that will affect your future and possibly change your outlook on a few things. First, you hold the Kyuubi inside of you, you are its jailer, its keeper. You are a hero Naruto, no matter what anyone tells you, it is because of you that Konoha still stands today. I have disagreed with your father on whether to seal him inside of you or not, but in the end, it was too late for any other choice. I also disagreed with the third when he said that you should never be told of the Kyuubi, for how can you stop him if you don't know he exists? I love you Naruto, and so does your father, we know that you are not the demon and that you never will be. My clan, our clan, the Uzumakis are an old clan of Whirlpool country, a small but powerful country indeed. The Uzumaki were the village leaders and most if not all of the citizens were from a branch family of our own. Branch families still held their original family name, but took up the Uzumaki lineage as we were often at war with Kirigakure for land rights, and I grew up in the conflict. Our people have a strong bloodline, one that awakens near adolescence, it will give you power that many have never seen, but you must learn to control it. Kiri took in many refugees when our country was disbanded, if you wish to learn from a true Uzumaki, look there first. Be warned though, if you find a branch family member, they might not take kindly to a blood, such as yourself Naruto. While we never openly discriminated against them, many of the original Uzumaki held disdain for the lower families, seeing them as pretenders. Only true Uzumaki awaken our bloodline, and rarely would it have been able to be taught to lower families. Look for someone that has the common traits of an Uzumaki or can use our bloodline, then and only then will you find a fellow survivor. Most of our clan's women had red hair like my own, and the men generally had brown or red hair as well. I doubt appearances will be helpful, so look out for people who use our bloodline, the lava and boil release. You will know Naruto, I believe in you. I left for Konoha looking for peace and I found it along with your father. He can be a barker but I still love him, and I always will. Naruto, I'm going to finish this letter now, I hope you can read all of it, I had to write fast. The doctors tell me it won't be long now, but I had to finish this one last message to you. No matter what happens Naruto, I know that you will as proud, whether it be in Konoha or elsewhere. I left a few parting gifts as did your father, you should find them in the boxes. Good luck Naruto-kun, I know that you will become the greatest shinobi. Naruto read through the message with a sad smile on his face, knowing that this was his mother's final goodbye to him. His father was unable to write anything to him, but he understood the position the man was in. He set the letter down and opened the first box, slowly to surprise himself. He was utterly shocked at what he found. He took out the first thing in the container and examined it closely, it was a ninja headband. The peculiar thing was that it did not hold the Konoha symbol, instead it held the Uzumaki swirl and the fabric was red. Must have been my mother's, she was a kunoiki of the Whirlpool village. It held what must have been Kushina's battle outfit, a red robe-like uniform that would cover only her torso, there appeared to be pink short shorts there as well, Fuka's uniform from Shippuden filler arc. Naruto blushed at the thought of a woman in this uniform and quickly set it aside, neatly folded as to not disturb it too much. He found a note on the uniform and read it. Naruto-kun, this was my Whirlpool kunoiki outfit. It is a bit provocative but it got the job done, maybe you can find a nice little Uzumaki girl and give this as a present of the old times. Naruto blushed at the thought of finding another Uzumaki, especially a girl no less. He set the note down and grabbed what appeared to be another set of clothes, but he was unprepared for what they could be. They were a set of clothes for him apparently, since they were too small to be his mother's. The shirt was a long-sleeved shirt that was almost entirely black except for the Uzumaki swirl that covered his abs and on the top back as well. The pants were black in color and reached down to his ankles and the ninja sandals were a red color. My mom's clan must have really liked the color red. Naruto put on all of the clothes and even placed the Izugakure headband on his forehead, they were all very form-fitting. He looked in the mirror and saw what could very well be the look of an Azu genin. Naruto found a note at the bottom of the small clothing box and pulled it out to read. Naruto, this is the male Uzumaki clan uniform, all the genin boys would wear this. Girl uniforms were just smaller versions of what my outfit looks like. Izugakure enjoyed having a uniform shinobi force. I didn't understand it either, did make us look pretty professional though. Naruto thought about the new look as he observed himself. It didn't have any orange, but it was an old uniform of Izugakure, and the colors were not all bad. He could get used to wearing it, and he especially liked the headband. Time for the next box. Naruto picked up a small box and found himself face to face with 5 medium-sized scrolls in it. Each one had kanji writing on it and intricate art designs to denote its contents. The first had, lava, written on it and had a design of flames all over it. The second contained, boil, and had water and mist drawn on. Below these 2 scrolls, there was the final 3 scrolls that were lined up with each other in a specific order. Fire was between the 2 bloodline elements while water was beneath the boil, and earth was beneath lava. There was another note from his mother describing the contents of the box. Naruto, our bloodline allows you to use 3 nature elements in different combination to create 2 rare elements most have never even heard of before. Your first step should be to learn about the 3 basic elements that you have an affinity to, earth, fire, and water. Upon understanding how to manipulate each of these elements, your bloodline will allow you to mold the chakra simultaneously to create lava or boil. Fire and earth are combined for lava and water and fire are combined for boil. You will notice that fire is integral to know because you need it for both of the special elements. Naruto smiled, this was the Uzumaki heritage, the defining factor of why the Uzumaki clan was unique. Naruto knew that he had to continue this line, and he refused to take up his father's name because of his devotion to Whirlpool. He did not hate his father, but he knew the Namikaze clan was no more and he would only gain enemies if he was to become the last Namikaze, so he would stay Uzumaki and make a difference, and he promised to make both parents proud. Naruto placed the scroll box near the clothing and grabbed the next box and it was somewhat heavy. Naruto opened it to find a plain scroll with Namikaze written on it. It also held a neatly stacked pile of 3-pronged kunai, confusing Naruto. What kind of kunai are these? Naruto found a note in different handwriting. It must have been from his father. Hey Naruto. Your mother told me we're making like a time capsule or something for you, so I put in my favorite jutsu so you can use them someday. In the scroll it contains instructions for the Hiraishin and the Rasengan, two jutsu I'm very well known for. The Rasengan hasn't gotten completed yet, but I know you can finish it if I don't. The three-pronged kunai are used in conjunction with the Hiraishin. Read more from the scroll. See ya later Naruto. Well, Dad was excited. Naruto picked up one of the kunai and played with it in his fingers, testing its weight and how it felt in his hand. He immediately noticed the seal on the grip of the kunai and guessed that was a piece of the Hiraishin technique. He smiled upon placing the kunai back on the stack, figuring that he could effectively wield them with practice. Then Naruto came to the final box and opened it to find money, and lots of it. The Ryo coins were all stacked and wrapped neatly, and Naruto counted tens of thousands easily. He also noticed a few books off to the side, probably journals from his parents. I suppose this is my inheritance. Thanks Mom and Dad. Naruto had decided that he would not stay in Konoha for much longer, and he knew that it was impossible for him to bring along all the money, so he came up with a great plan. It was very short and simple checklist. 1. Ramen. 2. More ramen. 3. Ramen cups. 4. Important ninja stuff. Sad face. With the newly created list in mind, Naruto placed enough money inside Gama-chan to stuff the frog's face in. He then placed all the boxes back inside the sealed space for protection. Looters could come by while he was gone, and he refused to lose his last connection to his parents. He also made sure to grab one of the three-pronged kunai since his father had only given him 10 of them. He decided to spend some of the inheritance on getting more of the special kunai made, minus the seal. Naruto would have to create and draw that on his own. Before he walked out the door, Naruto face-palmed himself for his own stupidity. He had almost forgot to replace his Azu forehead protector with his Konoha one, and that would be a little too difficult to explain. Finally, Naruto left his apartment and headed straight for the shinobi weapon store and walked inside, avoiding the occasional glare or whispered threat he received. The shopkeeper noticed Naruto walk in and smiled at the boy, as did Naruto to him. There was a few people who understood Naruto, and this man was one of them. Naruto-san, what can I do for you today? Naruto walked up to the vendor and discreetly handed the man his special kunai and whispered into his ear. I need 40 of these kunai made as soon as possible, the Hokage's order. She wants me to begin learning to use a new weapon, and I asked for this, the weapon of my idol the Yondaime Hokage. Think you can do that, sir? The man at first looked at Naruto with genuine surprise and disbelief when he first saw the weapon, but he understood the situation after Naruto's explanation. Lie. Naruto paid for all the kunai in advance and left a bewildered shop owner behind. Ramen time. Naruto left the ramen booth feeling a little lighter in his pockets but a lot heavier in his stomach, and he patted it for good measure. He had easily wolfed down a couple dozen bowls of ramen before taking a 5-minute break and continuing again. Naruto made sure that he bought some of the new Ichiraku ramen cups that the old man had created. It contained Ichiraku-made ramen in on-the-go cups. He returned home and once again switched his forehead protector back to the Azu symbol. He went over all the hidden boxes' contents once again and smiled when he found nothing missing, out of place, or damaged. He walked to his bed and lied down after another trying day, wondering if tomorrow he would leave this place, the village he once called home. The place he declared that he would become Hokage of, and that dream had slipped away and had been replaced by a goal, almost like the Uchiha. Naruto's goal was to bring Whirlpool back to its former glory, and have the Uzumaki come alive again into one of the strongest clans of the shinobi continent. He still played his mother's writing over and over in his head, the writing about a nice little Uzumaki girl. He wondered if he really could find another Uzumaki in Kiri or anywhere really. Maybe he could travel to the old Azugakure ruins, maybe it had already been rebuilt. Naruto's thoughts continued to drift on about beautiful red heads and how he would look in a cage hat until he fell into a deep sleep. Elsewhere, there was a couple of lovebirds talking about him and his sudden rejection in Jiraiya's training. Hokage Tower, I just don't get it Tsunade, the Gaki seemed receptive enough in my previous training. Why wouldn't he want to go on this training trip with me now? Jiraiya complained to the busty blonde Hokage as she sat annoyed by the pervert's tirade. I don't know Jiraiya, maybe he just didn't want to be around your perverted ass for 2 years. I know I wouldn't. Tsunade mumbled the last part, but Jiraiya still picked it up and scowled at his old teammate. But Tsunade just held up a hand for quiet. Jiraiya, you can't force the boy to go train with you. I'll admit he has acted somewhat different the past month or so, but maybe he has decided to follow his own footsteps instead of walking over others. You can keep trying, but I won't force the poor boy, and you shouldn't either. His mother was just as stubborn, and we all know how difficult it was to convince her about anything. Jiraiya cringed at the thought of an annoyed Kushina. He could still recognize and count all of her inflicted bruises. I suppose you're right, Tsunade, I can't force him. But what about Akatsuki? We can't just leave him defenseless. If I can't train him, how will he become strong enough to fight them? Tsunade sighed and got up from her chair. She turned to look out the window. Akatsuki, they always have to make things complicated. We will just have to see. Naruto may surprise us and start training on his own. He obviously had some reason to not go with you, so we will wait exactly 1 month and see how his progress comes. Jiraiya walked over and joined Tsunade in looking out over Konoha, both contemplating the blonde genin and his future. Tsunade turned to Jiraiya with apprehension in her eyes and a frown, and he looked back to her confusedly. Do you think we should tell Naruto about his parents? Jiraiya went wide-eyed in surprise but quickly schooled his features to a serious face he used very rarely. No, he isn't ready to understand yet. He won't understand why it was kept from him. He must mature first, then maybe he can accept the truth. Tsunade continued to look at him and then looked down to the ground in regret and shame. I hate lying to him, he deserves to know. Jiraiya frowned and placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, Tsunade, he will come to find out in time. For now, we must believe in his father's wishes and the third's decree and hope that they were right. I believe in their decision. Tsunade shrugged off his hand and went back to her desk. She held a frown as she took out a sake bottle and filled a single cup, making Jiraiya frown. He watched as she drank the alcohol slowly and set the cup back down, thinking about something. Finally she answered him quietly, and she did so with regret drenching her voice. I'm not so sure I believe it anymore, Jiraiya. 2 days later. Here you are, Naruto-san, 40 kunai as per the Hokage's order. I hope you use them well. I'm sure the Yondaime would be proud to see his weapon used by another strong shinobi. Naruto smirked at the weapon maker. Oh, he was proud all right. You flatter me with your praise. I don't plan on letting him or anyone else down. I'm going to train and become powerful. It is my dream to become Hokage Yano. Naruto faked the speech and gave a smile to the man before walking out with a small box filled with dangerous weapons. He hummed a small tune as he walked back home to finalize his preparations in leaving Konoha. He had already packed his essentials into a large scroll and had placed all the family inheritance into the same large scroll he had prepared to carry on his back. He had asked Tenten where to find one since she often used scrolls for sealing things, and she had pointed him in the direction of her father's store. He had given Naruto a large-sized scroll that felt as light as a feather. Surely some other seal or jutsu scroll paper couldn't be that light. All of his remaining cash and family scrolls had been sealed away, including more than half his kunai. Naruto would keep 5 3-pronged kunai in his waist pouch, the rest would be sealed away for later use. He also had garnered together most of his survival equipment into the large scroll as well and had each object group sealed away from each other on the large scroll, along with labels that made it easy to remember where he had placed things. He decided that he would leave tonight and head straight for Kiri, possibly booking himself a ship for the Izugakure ruins. He figured that it would be a tourist attraction by now. Not for long though, it will be returned to its rightful owners. He had prepared a small goodbye note that would be delivered straight to the Hokage directly after he left the village. He had no doubt that Konoha would come after him, but he was confident that he would be able to outrun the search party if he left quickly enough. Jiraiya though, he would be a real problem. If he somehow found out that Naruto was leaving, he could easily track him down. But Naruto already had a foolproof plan to stop the old pervert. He just needed Jiraiya to stop by tonight and it would be done. Eventually there was a knock on the door and Naruto smirked. The trap was set. He quickly snagged the scroll and placed it to hang off his back, then he placed his hands into his iconic hand sign and whispered his jutsu's name. Shadow Clone Jutsu. He ordered the clone to stay in the room and not come out until he gave the signal, and with that, Naruto left his bedroom to answer the door. He walked up and looked through the peephole and confirmed the old hermit had arrived before he opened the door and allowed him in. Hey kid, I hear you said that you might consider the training. Jiraiya asked, glad the boy finally came around. Naruto hid a smirk and nodded, motioning the man to sit down on his couch. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Hey, I was going to plan on trying to cook something for tonight while we talk about the 2-year trip. Do you mind if I step out for a while to get some ingredients? I left someone to keep you company. Naruto fake pleaded and Jiraiya's eyes went from narrowed suspicion to genuine surprise. Sure Naruto, but who's going to keep me company? Naruto did smirk at that and called for the clone to come out. Jiraiya turned towards Naruto's door and instantly got a nosebleed and started scribbling down notes on his research paper. Naruto's clone came out of the bedroom with nothing but a small bikini covering her modest parts, and she winked to Naruto and he winked back. Naruto's clone sat down next to Jiraiya and gave him the cute eye treatment that practically knocked him out from blood loss. Alright, I'll be back soon Jiraiya, Naruko-chan. Naruko looked to Naruto and waved goodbye and blew a kiss for luck. The clone knew her boss's plan, and she also knew her own part in it. Act cute and distract the pervert while Naruto-kun escapes. She looked to the man in question and found him pleasantly knocked out from her chosen outfit and smirked. It looked like Naruto would get a clean getaway. Midnight, Konoha front gate. Naruto stalked through the surrounding foliage until he came upon his prize, the gate to leave Konoha. He immediately took note of the one guard at the guard post and thought out his options to escape. He figured that the man could be tricked by a shadow clone transformation, but then he noticed Konohamaru wandering the streets. What the hell was he doing out this late? Naruto didn't know, but he wasn't about to look a gift horse in the mouth. He moved to Konohamaru and engaged the small boy in a quick conversation before he recruited him for a job. Hey Konohamaru, what are you doing out this late all alone? Konohamaru gasped a bit when Naruto whispered into his ear from behind since he was caught by total surprise. He looked at his leader and shrugged. I don't know, couldn't sleep I guess. Naruto raised an eyebrow but otherwise just nodded at the explanation. He quickly created a shadow clone and had it transform into a cat. Konohamaru watched in wonder as Naruto did some cool jutsu and wondered when he would be able to do that. He tapped his young charge on the shoulder and got his attention. Hey Konohamaru, want to help me with a prank? Konohamaru looked at him with a confused expression before it morphed to a big grin. He loved pranking people. Sure boss, what do ya need? Naruto smiled, too easy. I need you to go up to the gate guard over there. Naruto pointed to the man in the distance. And ask him for your help in catching my clone here. Just pretend it's your cat and led him on a wide goose chase to the other side of town. Pull the honorable grandson card if he doesn't bite okay. Konohamaru went over the plan and smirked and he nodded his assent to Naruto. Wait Naruto, what will you be doing while he is distracted? Naruto frowned a bit at this, reminded once again that not some of the people he was going to leave behind made him hurt. He set a hand on his young protege's shoulder and gave him a smile that was just enough to hold back tears. I'm gonna prepare something special for him when he gets back, keep him distracted for as long as you can. Konohamaru nodded and started to walk in the guard's direction but was stopped again by Naruto. Hey Konohamaru. The boy turned around only to enter a friendly hug by Naruto, one that helped him cope with leaving. The boy was confused but returned the gesture anyway. Yeah boss. Naruto looked down at the boy and asked him to close his eyes for a second. The boy looked at him suspiciously but did so anyway. Naruto used his nimble fingers and quickly substituted the boy's goggles with Naruto's own leaf headband, a token to remember him by. The boy still had his eyes closed as Naruto whispered some parting words that struck many chords in his aching heart. Continue to get strong Konohamaru, I have every belief that you will make the old man proud. You already made me proud since the day I met you. Good luck, I hope to see you again. Naruto disappeared to a nearby tree and watched the boy open his eyes and felt his forehead and looked to find Naruto's headband and he wore a melancholy expression, as if he understood Naruto was really leaving. The young boy looked around for him until he wore a sad smile and let a few tears go, making Naruto finally let loose his own share of sadness. Goodbye. Naruto Naichin. The boy ran up to the guard and caught the man's attention perfectly, leading the man off towards Naruto's already running clone. The blonde took one last look at Konoha before he started running down the dirt road in the direction of Kiri, hoping that he could return one day. Goodbye, Konoha. Tsunade sat at her desk the following morning of Naruto's escape. She still had yet to receive his letter. Shizune was due to bring her any nightly mail that the Hokage might have received, and she was sipping some green tea in preparation for more paperwork. Ah, nothing calms you more than green tea. Tsunade smiled at that thought and continued smiling even when Shizune entered with the single piece of mail and handed it to her. Lady Tsunade, this was received from Naruto a little before midnight according to the desk clerk. Tsunade looked up at her and down to the letter, curious that the boy would send a message to her when he could just visit. Huh. Wonder what the kid wants. Tsunade opened the letter and began to read with Shizune watching her carefully. Tsunade's face went from shock, to disbelief, and finally to unbridled anguish as she let loose heavy tears and began to sob. She pushed herself out of her chair and went straight to the window, leaving Shizune wondering what the hell was wrong. What did Naruto do? Tsunade's cry of anguish resonated throughout the village, reaching even the ears of a dozing Jiraiya. Naruto. Jiraiya looked to see Naruto still in her place on the couch, playing with her nails until she heard the grieving cry and knew that was her cue to leave. Oh. Looks like it's time to leave. See ya, pervert, and with a puff of smoke, the attractive temptress was gone. Jiraiya stared at the spot she was once in and found his mind wandering. Where was Naruto? How long had he been out? What did Naruto do while he was asleep and why did he miss it? Then he finally remembered what made him woke up, Tsunade's cry for Naruto. Deciding that something was seriously wrong, he bolted out of the apartment's window and headed straight for the Hokage office. What he found disturbed him greatly. He found a utterly wrecked Tsunade sobbing on the floor with an equally saddened Shizune trying futilely to comfort the Hokage. Neither seemed to pay attention to the man as he examined the room and looked for threats, but was unable to find any. Jiraiya looked more closely and saw Tsunade holding something in her palm, a necklace. A locket. Upon looking closer, his face went to utter disbelief and great sadness as he pieced together the clues. Oh god no. Jiraiya whispered and looked one more time at the necklace. It was Naruto's necklace. The same one that was gifted to him by Tsunade, the same one that tethered the two together, a bond that was unbreakable. It was one of the many bonds that Naruto had broken in his leave from the village. Jiraiya went to the desk and picked up the discarded letter and did his best to read the smudged writing, no doubt from Tsunade's tears. Tsunade Barkan, if you are reading this, then I have already left the village. I can never tell you how sorry I am for leaving, but I came to this decision as a last resort. I discovered my heritage left behind for me about a month ago, and since then I have been deciding how to handle the many changes that it has caused. I hold no anger towards any of you, only the people who hate and misunderstand me that reside in this village have earned my animosity. I have left for lands unknown to learn and master my bloodline that my mother has left for me. Please do not follow, for I do not wish to come back now, maybe someday but not now. I have returned your necklace to you, because I feel that because I came to this decision of leaving the village, I broke our pact, our promise. I'm no longer fit to wear that necklace, and I can never be strong enough, but I hope that I can make you and everyone back at Konoha proud, just like I'm going to make my parents proud too. Goodbye Barkan, thanks for everything, you are worthy, Naruto. How could you just leave, Konoha, how could you leave me? Tsunade sobbed and Shizune was still no better off, remembering how kind the boy was, how could he just leave? Jiraiya looked out the window after dropping the letter like it was acid and thought about the predicament. Naruto. Why? Jiraiya. The man looked down to Tsunade and saw her gripping his shirt on her knees, practically begging him. His eyes widened and he took the woman's hands into his own, trying his best to comfort the heartbroken Hokage. Jiraiya. Bring Naruto back. Please. I can't. I just can't declare him a missing nin. I'll resign before I do. Bring Naruto back. Jiraiya turned serious and nodded, hopping and leaning on the window, he looked over his shoulder. I will, Tsunade, I promise. And with that, the man was gone in a swirl of leaves, leaving Tsunade to get herself together and begin her day. A day without a blonde Gaki, a day without any annoyances or problems, a day that she wasn't insulted about her age, a day without her little Naruto. 1 week later, whoa, so this is Kirigakure. This is where Haku and Zabuza were from, right? Naruto quietly whispered to himself in wonder as he got off the boat and entered the harbor of the hidden village's home island. He saw the mountains off in the distance, and he figured that was the village's natural barrier to the outer part of the island he was on. He saw his path and readjusted his scroll on his back before he started walking, a hopeful smile on his face. Kirigakure, here I come. Kirigakure mountain path. Okay, I get the whole hidden mist thing, but why does it have to be so foggy? Naruto screamed into the surrounding forest, scaring some birds into flying away, and they left a fuming Naruto behind. He had been traveling for the past hour to try and reach the hidden village, and all he had seen so far was mist, mist, oh and more mist. He couldn't even tell if he was walking in the right direction anymore, hell he could barely see the road. He checked the traveler's guide he picked up in the harbor and reread it one more time about the natural phenomena of water country. True to its name, the central island, especially areas near Kirigakure, are known to have year-long fogs and mist with no sign dissipation. Some relate it to the island and how wet the area is constantly. Some radical believers think to believe Kiri ninja purposely create the fog as a natural defense mechanism. Needless to say, the fog is often loathed among tourists, and water transportation must always be monitored to keep ships from running aground or hitting one another. Naruto looked up and frowned, resigning himself to fate of walking in the forest for eternity. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity to Naruto, he found himself at a stake in the ground with writing on it. Naruto read it aloud. Welcome to Kirigakure. Naruto's frown turned to a vibrant smile, and he noticed that the mist had finally dissipated, as if his words were magic. The village was slowly revealed to him, and Naruto finally realized that he was on a hill, or a tall mountain path, since the village was much lower than the ground he was on. He used his eyes to map the path and figured it would take him 15 minutes to reach the gate at a sedate pace, but he stayed at the stake for a few moments to look at the city. It held a unique architecture compared to Konoha. Most of its buildings were cylindrical in shape, and he thought he could spy what he figured to be the Mizukage's office. It was just a hunch though. Naruto really had no prior knowledge to the village itself, apart from rumors and things. Apparently, Kirigakure just finished up a civil war between bloodlines and normal citizens, but Naruto didn't know who won. He gulped out of hesitation and slight fear. I hope the bloodlines won, or else this trip will be for nothing. Naruto began to walk down the path to the village, fidgeting with the scroll sash held over his chest. He had been quite confident getting off the boat, but now that he was staring down a potentially enemy village, he was having second thoughts. He steeled himself, knowing in his mind that what he was doing was right. His clan was counting on him. He soon reached the village and found the gate to be guarded with a lot more security than the usually lax Konoha front gate. There were at least 5 Kiri ninja standing at solid attention at the gate, and he saw a figure in front of their single file line. As he walked closer, he noticed the curves of the body, a perfect hourglass shape. It had to have been a woman, yet she appeared to stand resolute and with authority, if the sweating Kiri nin were any proof. She stood waiting for him to arrive, and she looked quite bored, arms crossed and an impatient look displayed upon her perfect features. Naruto could now observe her clearly, and his jaw dropped at her looks, the utter beauty of the woman in front of him. He stood before her now, and the woman watched as the boy looked her up and down with a knowing smirk. I swear, men are all the same, no matter the age. The Mizukage had been alerted to a lone traveler's presence by Kiri patrols and by the unnatural mist detection jutsu generated by Kiri itself. She knew it was odd for a lone traveler to come to Kiri on business, and what worried her was that the person had been walking slowly right down the main path. Any typical spy would have gone off the main road and tried to infiltrate over the wall or something, not try and walk right through the front gate. Because of this, she elected to lead a squad herself in meeting with the individual and ask of his business in the hidden village, yet she found it odd when she finally noticed him to be young. He could be no more of 15 years of age, yet he held a certain air of authority and competence. It appeared as though he had an objective in coming to Kiri, but what? Naruto was still staring at the woman's beauty as she analyzed him as an enemy, but he analyzed her as a woman, a very hot woman. She had long russet red hair that easily reached her ankles and fanned out behind her, some even covered her right eye. Now looking to her eye, he saw that it was an emerald green color, and he saw that she favored the color blue from her appearance. Her lips were an ocean blue color from lipstick, and he saw that both her toenails and her fingernails were both blue in color. She wore a blue garment over what appeared to be a fishnet bodysuit. She also wore leg guards like the crazy snake lady from Konoha. She stared at him with some patience, he noticed, but all of a sudden her eyes widened and she was gaping at the mouth. He followed her moving eyes and noticed that they were moving from his Azu headband to the Uzumaki swirl on his lower torso. She must know something about the Uzumaki. Wait, that is impossible. All the Uzumaki have put away their old uniforms and dropped their ties with the clan. I watched father and mother both burn theirs. Why does this boy have an Azugakure uniform? Hello, I'm a traveler to your village, Kirigakure. I mean no trouble, I'm just looking for someone to help me find out a few things about my clan. Naruto trailed off as he saw the ninja stiffen even more at the sound of clans, and the Mizukage schooled her features and walked up to him. She looked down at him and knelt slightly so she could be eye level with the young man, and talked with a level tone, yet she kept a smile on her face. Hello traveler, it is nice to see someone coming to the village. We haven't gotten many visitors since the end of the massacres. The woman trailed off and appeared to look sad before looking back at Naruto, again smiling. May I inquire your name, young man? Naruto looked on, shocked that the woman was actually speaking to him, with a smile on her face no less. He expected a lazy, or even cold welcome, yet she appeared to be genuinely happy he was here. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. May I ask yours? Naruto asked the question back and watched the woman's eyes widen again at the sound of Uzumaki, but she straightened out quicker than last time. She smiled and placed an acknowledging hand on her chest. My name is Mei Terumi, and I am the 5th Mizukage. She said resolutely, but was surprised by the young Uzumaki when he knelt in front of her like most of her own ninja did, yet he wasn't even a shinobi of her village. I'm so sorry for my disrespect, Mizukage-sama. Had I known who you were before. Naruto trailed off when he felt a hand on his shoulder and looked up to see Mei smiling brightly at him, her visible eye closed from the size of the grin. Please Naruto, there is no need for formalities. I may be the Mizukage, but I get enough respect from my own ninja, you may call me Mei. Naruto looked on as she opened her eyes and looked at his bewildered expression, and then she faked a frown and turned away. Unless of course, you do not wish to call me by my name. Naruto woke up from his stupor and realized she had been talking to him. No, I didn't mean it like that, Mei-cha. Naruto slapped his hands over his mouth and begged that she hadn't noticed the slip, but she obviously had with her now shocked face. Feeling as though their Mizukage had been insulted by the foreigner's feigned familiarity, the Kiri ninja made to attack the boy, but the Mizukage glared at them. She kept her glare until each settled into an uncomfortable squirm under her gaze, then she smirked before turning back to Naruto with a bright smile. Mei-chan, huh? She looked at Naruto and almost laughed as he squirmed under her inquisitive gaze, but she let up and giggled. Naruto had been waiting for an almighty and powerful water jutsu to drown him to death or the other ninja to carve him up with kunai for his disrespect, but he looked to see Mei giggling from the comment. Okay Naruto-kun, how about we go inside the village and discuss your problem in my office? I may be able to help you with your clan problem. She said and began to walk in the direction of her office. She looked behind her to see Naruto still standing there, just watching her. I must really have captured the interest of this young Uzumaki. Curious. Are you coming Naruto-kun? My bodyguards won't bite, or else I'll melt them. She threatened her own Kiri ninjas while still smiling, and each of them were completely frightened. They knew that Mei meant that statement very literally because of her unique bloodline, yet Naruto was completely oblivious and started to walk up to her and stood behind the woman to respect her. The young woman frowned and looked at Naruto, who was looking down at the ground, still embarrassed at his lack of respect to the Mizukage. She once again knelt down to his level and set a hand on his cheek, forcing him to look at her pristine features. She gave him another one of her famous smiles that had made the young genin feel butterflies in his stomach and made him feel at peace. He listened to her melodic voice as she spoke to him softly. Please Naruto-kun, I won't hurt you for calling me Mei-chan. I actually think it's cute. Now please walk with me, not behind me. You have shown nothing but kindness and respect to my village so far. I have no reason to feel any animosity towards you. She continued to smile until Naruto gave her a nervous smile and nodded in agreement, and she noticed when he frowned a bit when she took her hand back from his cheek and got up. She frowned at the thought of making him sad, but she didn't want to believe the young newcomer had developed a crush on her so soon. He is very interesting, and cute with those whisker marks. She began walking towards the largest cylindrical building of the city, the kanji sign for water, in the same spot as Konoha's fire, on their Hokage building. Naruto walked alongside the taller woman with her bodyguards obediently following behind them, keeping an eye on the young boy. They were itching for an excuse just to kill him, but the Mizukage had shown favor towards the boy and it would obviously end badly if they were to try something. This is Kirigakure Naruto-kun. I recently became the Godai Mizukage after my predecessor, Yagura, died of unknown causes. I have been working to stop the bloodline massacres that started during his reign for some time now. The fruits of our labor as you can see now. She motioned with her hands towards the village residential sector they were walking through. Naruto saw the many children playing outside in playgrounds with their parents mingling with each other from the benches. Shop vendors, both inside stores or outside at stalls, were actively trading and selling their many wares with both civilian and shinobi. The houses were all well built and even though some were obviously only recently constructed, the village had an immaculate, pristine look. If these massacres are as bad she made them sound. She did very well in taking over. I see it, Mei-chan. A low growl could be heard from the bodyguards. This village must be prospering under your rule, to have fixed so much in so little of time. Naruto looked up into her proud eyes as she looked down to him. You are obviously a great leader, Mei-chan. The young woman blushed a bit at his compliment and smiled. She already liked the Uzumaki, this Naruto. Many had at first disagreed with her appointment to Mizukage, some asking for her to resign due to being a woman, and others calling for her head because of her bloodline. Bloodline? I wonder, if this boy is a true blood like I am. Could his clan problem be that he is starting to activate the bloodline? Thank you Naruto-kun, I'm glad you think so. Many have often disagreed with my appointment to the Kage position here in Kirigakure. To hear it from a newcomer so soon. It is disconcerting to think that you would have more confidence in me than my own people. Naruto frowned at that. How could her people not see the prosperity she has brought? Here we are, the Mizukage office building. She walked to the center of the welcoming lobby and turned to Naruto, holding out her slender hand. I always hated stairs, hold on to me Naruto-kun. I'll get us there quicker. Naruto hesitantly took her hand and she grew a playful smirk. The woman purposely pulled him too hard and he slammed into her chest. Luckily he had two nice cushions to prevent any harm. The guards again growled but Mei just giggled at what she had done. It was fun messing with Naruto. She smiled as she put her arms around his neck as if to hug him until they were enveloped in a swirl of water, causing both to disappear to the Mizukage suite. Mizukage office. The two ninja appeared in the woman's office, and Naruto noted how it was similar to the Hokage office, except there was a lot of blue. The office held a simple desk and a blue leather couch in front of it, obviously for comfort rather than business. The room held a full window wall behind the office desk, giving a clear view of the village for the Mizukage. It also seemed the room was not in a shape like the Hokage office, it seemed to be a small trapezoid shape, the window wall being the lengthy base and the door being the starting point for the angled sides. Naruto looked towards the actual entrance to the office and found a set of regal wooden double doors, and there was a blue carpet that led from the entrance to the front of the office desk. From the door, 3 blue marble columns flanked the carpet on either side, and Naruto observed they were more for show and not for actual structural integrity. All in all, it beat the Hokage office in luxury easily. Mei walked away from Naruto and sat on the couch instead of her usual seat at the desk and patted a seat on the couch right next to her. Naruto took the hint and gulped, hesitantly walking over to sit next the beautiful woman. She laced an arm above Naruto's head, resting it on the couch and leaning in close with an inviting smile and began to talk to the embarrassed genin. So what brings an Uzumaki to my village? Mei questioned, gauging both his reaction and his answer to her question on how to proceed. It was a delicate matter for her, since she had history with the Uzumaki. Naruto gulped and did his best to explain his situation, skirting around sensitive Uzumaki business like their bloodline and such. He essentially was looking for relatives from what his half-truth speech sounded like. There must be more of a reason for you to just up and leave your home in Konoha than to find some long-lost relatives. Don't lie to me Naruto. She threatened with narrowed eyes but still kept a deceivingly cheerful smile on her face. Naruto gulped. Guess it's now or never. Well you see, I am at the age where the Uzumaki bloodline activates, and I need to find someone to train me to harness it. One day I hope to rebuild Azugakure and the Uzumaki clan, but I can't do that if I can't use my Kekkei Genkai Kunai. Mei acquired a surprised face. She had already guessed his bloodline would be the real reason he was in Kiri, but she hadn't thought that he would actually have such a dream. She had not expected him to have such ambition, to bring glory back to the old Whirlpool country. Impossible. It was now owned by Kirigakure, as were most of the islands surrounding the Central Isle. But she had to give it to the young boy. He definitely had determination to see it through. I see. Mei suddenly got up and walked towards the wall-spanning window and looked out across the village. Having a silent battle within herself on how to proceed, since she had to be careful, per blood, Uzumaki were hard to find anywhere now, and to lose one now would be a great loss to Kiri. Naruto fiddled with his scroll that he had set on the ground, nervous on the Mizukage's decision. He wanted to stay here and find other Uzumaki, but he could regretfully understand any reason the Mizukage might have of denying him and sending him back. He watched her turn towards him, a straight face that made it impossible to read her. I'm afraid the Uzumaki clan is defunct. Any true Uzumaki are either dead or in hiding. Naruto frowned at her explanation but had feared such an answer. Mei hated to disappoint him, but she knew that there was no true Uzumaki clan left, just a few branch families. I see. Well, I suppose I'll go then. Thank you for your time, Mizukage-sama. Mei held a shocked and hurt look on her face as she watched the downtrodden boy pick up his scroll and leave. Mei held out her hand as if to grab him and yelled to him. Stop. Naruto froze and slowly turned back to her, wondering what other bad news she could bring next. Mei was frowning. She hated to see the young man look so down about his situation. She had to find something to keep him there. Where will you go, Naruto-kun? There is no other place that would have any chance of holding Uzumaki clansmen, and I'm sure there is a search party waiting to find you in fire territory. Naruto looked at her and began to contemplate where he would go. He just wanted to leave this place. It hurt too much to stay. I suppose I could go to Wave. I have made many friends there, and it is possible because of their proximity that an Uzumaki could be located in the town. The Mizukage frowned. His explanation was sound and she couldn't dissuade him. She watched him turn and continue walking towards the door. She disappeared in a vortex of water and appeared directly in front of him, surprising him and made his face plow into her large breasts. She giggled a bit at the scene and frowned when he backed up and started stuttering off an apology. She walked up to him and knelt a bit, placing a hand on his cheek to calm him. It did wonders. The boy shut up and looked at the emerald-eyed goddess. There may be no active Uzumaki here, but I believe that I can train you, Naruto-kun. My clan holds a Kekkei Genkai that is a carbon copy of your own, and I believe that our clans must have had some history for this to be, although I can't be sure. Naruto looked shocked at the innocent woman. She had his Kekkei Genkai. Wait. You can use lava and boil release. Mei smirked and nodded her head. Naruto's eyes widened even more. You mean that you know the three elements of the bloodline, earth, fire, and water? Mei held her smirk and nodded again, and Naruto settled down and decided to sum up his thoughts. Whoa. Mei began to smile at that. It appeared as though he would stay. So does this mean you will stay in Kiri, Naruto-kun? Naruto looked into her eyes and hesitantly took her hand that was on his cheek and held it with his own, causing her to gape in surprise. He smiled at the young woman, and gave her a thumbs up. On my honor as an Uzumaki, I promise to be your best student, Mei-chan. Of course I'll stay here. I really like your village. I just have to find somewhere to live. Naruto went into a thinking pose and racked his brain for a living arrangement. Mei laughed at him. Do you have any suggestions, Mei-chan? She smiled and set a hand on his shoulder, standing up to her full height. I'm glad you asked, Naruto-kun. If you will be okay with it, I'll have you stay in my family's estate. It'll be easier to train you then, and we can keep each other company. Anbu and swordsmen aren't a lot of fun to talk to. It's all business to them when they are guarding me. Mei pouted and it was Naruto's turn to giggle at her antics. She was definitely an interesting cage. If you're sure you want me to live with you, then I agree. Naruto pumped his fist into the air in victory, and Mei smiled again. She walked over to her desk and pulled out 3 headbands from her desk drawer, each having a different color fabric. She laid them out on the table and motioned for Naruto to pick one. I'm sorry, Naruto, but many people here won't recognize your Azu headband, and it might be dangerous for you to wear. If you would like, I can temporarily induct you into the Kirigakure Ninja Corps. All you have to do is sign a few documents and pick out a headband. Mei smiled and watched him look at all three Kiri headbands. Naruto looked at each headband on the desk. All of them had the 4 waves for the Kirigakure village symbol. The first was a very common color that Naruto didn't really enjoy that much on headbands, blue. He shook his head and looked at the next one. It was a bright red like his own and Sakura's, but it didn't fit well with Kiri's personal style. Naruto smiled and picked up the final choice, a dark black headband, and slipped it onto his forehead. Mei smiled at his choice, albeit a little disappointed he didn't pick blue. She flared her chakra and out of a cloud of mist came 3 ninja. All 3 had Anbu masks on but only 2 wore a full uniform. The one that appeared to be the leader wore a striped blue shirt with a Kiri headband buckled to the front of it. On his back, there appeared to be an oddly shaped sword with jewel hilts, and Naruto wondered if he was a member of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. He had his ears covered and had blonde hair, similar in color to the Yamanaka. His pants were a camouflage not unlike Zabuza's and his ninja sandals were black. The other 2 wore standard Anbu uniform and had their masks adorned with blue designs, to signify their Kiri allegiance. Chojuro, take off your mask please. Naruto looked at the Mizukage and back at the man that had now been identified. The man bowed low and took off his mask. He wore orange lenses in his black trimmed glasses that connected to the headphones over his ears, and he wore a shy smile that was made up of sharpened teeth. Exactly like Zabuza's teeth, he must be one of them. How may we help, Mizukage-sama? The boy asked, and Naruto could barely hear him. This guy would be perfect for Hinata. I would like you to escort Naruto and myself to the Shinobi district. We will be getting him a new set of clothes. He is a genin, so don't treat him like a civilian, understood? Chojuro and the other 2 Anbu nodded and took in the appearance of Naruto, and noticed that he wore a Kiri headband but had a strange sense of fashion. Yes ma'am. And they all disappeared in a thick mist, leaving the office behind for an adventure through Naruto's new hometown. Hey Chojuro-san. Naruto had been pondering a question to ask the swordsman since they had departed from the Mizukage's office, but he had been afraid to ask. The 3 Anbu had walked directly behind the 2 VIPs and had been quiet for the most part. Mei had engaged Naruto in small talk, but it was only to pass the time. Chojuro looked at the boy and gave Naruto a smile. He trusted the Mizukage's judgment in friends enough. Yes. What do you need, Naruto-san? Naruto scratched the back of his head and hesitantly asked his question. I was wondering, are you a member of the 7 swordsmen? All the present Kiri shinobi turned to Naruto and failed to hide their surprise. How did Naruto know about that organization? Chojuro looked unsure and asked a silent question with his eyes to the Mizukage, and she just smirked and nodded, giving him permission. Yes, I am Naruto-san. How did you know? Naruto smiled and jabbed a finger into his chest. It's because you look like some of the other swordsmen from that organization that I've met. Everyone was shocked at this. Where could he have met them? What do you mean, Naruto-kun? We currently have 4 swordsmen, and they have been in the capital for the past 3 years. Mei asked, curious of the story behind his answer. Well, I've met Zabuza, Reiga, and I think his name was Kisum or something. I've fought all 3 actually. The group stopped walking and looked at Naruto with wide eyes. When did this happen? Wait, you fought Kisum-senpai and Zabuza-senpai? Chojuro practically blurted out his question to the confused blonde who nodded dumbly. How did you survive? Naruto just shrugged, not seeing the big deal. Naruto-kun. The Mizukage got his attention and she explained their startled reaction. The 7 swordsmen are some of the most powerful ninja our village have produced. To fight them would be a challenge even for me. Naruto's eyes widened and he understood their implication. Oh well. I don't know how exactly to explain. I guess I always had help when I fought them, but I never really lost when I fought any of them except for Kisum. Chojuro nodded his head in assent. His sensei had told him many horror stories involving that shark. He was the most feared of all the swordsmen for the sheer strength of both himself and his sword, Samehada. That is amazing, Naruto-kun. Your clan would be very proud to see you stand against such opponents. Mei praised the blushing boy and the bodyguards nodded in respect. He really is a powerful Uzumaki, to have defeated such opponents without the bloodline to help him. Here we are, Naruto-kun. You will come to find that similar to the old Izugakure, Kiri has some trends that will never die when it comes to our clothing. I think you might enjoy the style compared to Konoha's. Naruto nodded and walked inside the clothing store, followed closely by the others. Naruto noticed the trend immediately and his face was marked with surprise. He was in total shock. Mei smirked knowingly and the Anbu snickered at his reaction to the clothing selection. All the clothing choices either had blue, black, or a white-black camo scheme to them, and Naruto felt overwhelmed. Mei gave him a little push and sent him on a quest to find his perfect outfit while she conversed with the shopkeeper. Naruto walked through the many aisles and found himself getting excited at all the different combinations of clothing he could choose from. He picked up a long-sleeve, black shirt that looked like its sleeves had been sewn on. The sleeves were in the urban camo scheme that were often seen on pants or undershirts and Naruto decided to choose it for his top. He also chose a camo undershirt to wear underneath it. Next up were pants, and Naruto already knew his choice so he picked up a pair of pants identical to Chojiro's pair of camo pants that reached his feet. Between the end of the pant leg and his new black sandals were a pair of black, leather leggings that strapped tightly to his lower legs, covering up any skin that might have been shown. Naruto walked back up to the counter and handed his clothing choice to the shop owner, who looked to the Mizukage. She smiled and placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder, signifying that he was taken care of as far as permission or prices go. We'll take a half a dozen of these exact outfits, please have them sent to the Terumi estate as soon as possible. Ready Naruto-kun. Naruto looked up at her and nodded, and all 5 shinobi walked out in the direction of the Terumi compound. Naruto-san, I'm wondering, what is in that large scroll? Chojuro asked the question that had been on many of the shinobi's minds and Naruto looked at the swordsman and smiled. It holds all my worldly possessions, and important clan things that I plan on sharing with Mei-chan at her house. Mei looked at Naruto with a surprised look, she had not expected him to trust her so readily and she felt happy at the compliment. He is very kind, I would do well not to break his trust. I see. They continued their walk for some time until they reached the Terumi compound, a large, walled-off area with artistic designs painted onto the barriers. Well, I suppose this is where we part ways Chojuro, Anbu. Chojuro please remain on call for the coming weeks, I believe I will need your help in training Naruto-kun. Chojuro looked at her and gave her a small smile, and saluted along with the other Anbu before placing his mask back on. Yes ma'am. Mei looked to Naruto as soon as the 3 bodyguards disappeared and smiled, one of which he returned with his own grin. Ready to see my house Naruto-kun? I'm sure you'll enjoy it here. I think so too Mei-chan. And I just want to say thank you, for everything you have done for me so far. I know you are taking a big risk in allowing me to stay, but I promise that I won't be a bother to you or Kirigakure. Naruto announced, bowing low to the Mizukage but looked at her face when he felt her place a hand on his cheek. Mei's face was now only a few inches from his and he felt himself unwillingly being brought closer to her, like a magnet to metal. He closed his eyes and waited for contact but soon felt a warm, wet sensation on his right cheek and he opened his eyes to see Mei pulling back from kissing him. He now had a faint blue imprint of her supple lips on his cheek, and he absently felt it in a love-struck daze. Mei giggled at how much he was blushing and felt herself getting a little warm too. She didn't know why she kissed him, but felt happy when she did it anyway. Naruto-kun, you don't have to thank me, I'm happy to help you. Your goal to revive your clan is an ambitious and difficult one, and I would love to help you in any way I can. I think you and I can get along very well. She purred the last part before ushering a red Naruto into her estate. The recent turn of events were very interesting. Mei could honestly say that she was glad Naruto had come to Kiri. Wow. Naruto stood in the main lobby to the large Terumi family mansion and noticed how big the sheer size of it was. The greeting room held the same blue marble columns of Mei's office yet blended them with many of the Terumi family heirlooms and designs that gave the room a very homey feel. This is it Naruto, my home. I often feel very lonely here, it will be nice to have someone else to live with. Naruto looked at her and she appeared to be a bit sad at the thought of living alone for so long, so he grabbed her hand, squeezed it. The level of affection caused the surprised Kage to blush. I have lived alone my entire life, so I also share the yearning for company. I think that it will be a lot of fun living here with you Mei-chan, I hope you'll enjoy me being here. Naruto released her hand and gave her a foxy grin with a confident thumbs up, and it made her giggle. That sound sent Naruto's feelings haywire and caused him to just stare at the older woman's sheer level of beauty and grace. There was a sound that alerted him that someone was at the gate, and Mei quickly created a water clone to see who it was while she led Naruto to his bedroom on the second floor. This is your bedroom, Naruto-kun. My own living area is right across the hall here. If you ever need anything, I'm just a few steps away. Naruto nodded and entered his new room. It was sparsely furnished, obvious from the little activity in the Terumi estate, but it held a bed and a study area with a few books to read. The walls were a dark blue and there was a single, large window on the opposite wall from the door, perfect for early morning sunrise. He saw a closet and stashed his scroll inside, too tired from carrying it everywhere with him. Naruto turned back to Mei, who was now behind him, placing the clothes she received from her clone inside his closet. It's perfect, Mei-chan, better than anywhere I've ever lived before. Mei smiled and handed him a full outfit to change into. The shipment from the clothing store arrived earlier than she expected, meaning they might start training before tomorrow. I'm glad you think so, Naruto-kun. Please put on your new outfit. You'll need to wear it for our training tonight, and I'm curious to see how you look in a uniform. She whispered the last part seductively into his ear and began to laugh as he blushed and ran straight to the bathroom, almost fast enough to be a shunshin. 2 minutes later, Naruto walked out of the bathroom looking a bit hesitant to come out with his new outfit, but he was given an order by his Mizukage and came out fully. She gasped in astonishment at how well it fit him. The clothing were a perfect size and Naruto truly looked good in the Kiri style. You look great, Naruto. I don't know why you're so hesitant to show it off. You look like you've been a Kiri shinobi for a long time. Now gather up all your clan scrolls and come out when you're done. I'll be waiting. Naruto nodded and went straight to his scroll, opening it up and pulled out his 5 clan scrolls. He looked at them for a second, suddenly having suspicious thoughts on the Mizukage and her clan. What if she wants to steal these from me? No, she wouldn't do that. Mei-chan is different. Naruto walked out with the scrolls under his arm and nodded to Mei, who was leaning against the wall next to his room. She smiled and hugged him again, enveloping the two in a water typhoon. Naruto was starting to hope that shunshining with Mei was going to become a trend. He was really enjoying the hugs. Alright, Naruto-kun, to begin, I'm going to teach you how to manipulate the fire element. It is because fire is the universal element in your bloodline, since you use it for both elements. Mei almost couldn't catch her slip up in the explanation, but luckily Naruto was too focused on the teaching part that he didn't notice. To manipulate fire, you must will your body to convert the chakra into heat by raising its temperature. You will have to maintain that heat as you expel the fire chakra from your body. It is integral to have strong chakra control for manipulating nature elements, so you'll have to work very hard to control them, understand? Naruto nodded his head vigorously and waited for Mei to tell him what to do next. Mei quickly went through a few hand signs and held up a tiger seal before expelling a large fireball across the training grounds right outside the Terumi mansion. Naruto watched her in wonder. He was going to learn how to do that. Mei turned to face him and she gave him a smile. Your turn. Mei handed Naruto his family fire scroll and allowed him to read off the basic fire jutsu and learn the hand signs. After a few minutes, Naruto stood up and took a position slightly in front of Mei and went through each hand sign with slow precision before yelling out the jutsu's name. Grand Fireball. Naruto shot a small stream of fire from his mouth and found himself slightly disappointed, but he knew that it was because of his bad chakra control. He quickly went through the hand signs again and again, continuing to attempt the jutsu for the next half hour. Mei was astounded at his sheer stamina and willpower. Most genin would have given up after the second try. Naruto was easily in the dozens and showed no signs of stopping. It wasn't until the sun was setting did Naruto finally pull off a decent-sized fireball before collapsing from sheer exhaustion. Mei silently gasped and moved to catch him, having his head fall into her lap as he laid there on the ground, tiredly staring into her emerald eye. She was very worried about Naruto. She thought he would have run out of chakra by now, and she was actually glad that he practically knocked himself out training before he hurt himself. Naruto-kun. You did wonderful. With your stamina and sheer determination to train, we'll be done in no time. Mei praised the blonde and he gave her a happy yet very droopy smile and fluttered his eyes to stay awake a little longer. Thank you, Mei-sensei, I promise to make you proud. Naruto began to trail off as he started to fall asleep. Her long hair had fallen over his face and tickled him back into consciousness. He absently mentioned something, feeling as though he were dreaming. Mei-chan has such soft hair, smells like an ocean shore. Mei outright turned to a tomato from that, even she hadn't been expecting such a compliment from the genin. She smiled and shunshed into Naruto's room, laying him down on the bed and covering him up with the blanket. She leaned in close and hesitantly laid a kiss on his forehead, placing a hand on his chest while she whispered into his ear. "Good night, Naruto-kun, sweet dreams." And with that, she was gone, already in her own room. She stood in front of her bathroom mirror, looking at herself before preparing to go to bed. One quick shower later, she was in her see-through nightgown, only her undergarments kept her decent through the gown's sky blue fabric. She looked at the moon from her balcony, silently going over what has happened today, and came to the conclusion that it was definitely one of the more interesting days of her life. She now had a friend, and a fellow Uzumaki, per blood, that survived the collapse of Izugakure. She looked to her closet and saw her last gift from her mother, an Uzumaki kunoichi uniform, and wondered if she would ever put it on, ever see the fabled Izugakure ruins of her family's birthplace. Maybe go there with Naruto, she mused. I'm sorry, Tsunade, I couldn't find a trace of him. My last estimates put him headed east, across the ocean to the island nations. Jiraiya stood in the Hokage office speaking with a still depressed Tsunade. It had been some time since Jiraiya had left, and Tsunade had held out hope that he would find Naruto, yet there had been no luck. Her tears began anew as she looked out the window over Konoha. Why would Naruto leave his home? I will send a message to the Mizukage, surely she will help us. Jiraiya just nodded, not familiar with the new Mizukage. Probably some old hag. But what if she was young and gorgeous and somehow the Gaki got with her and they had a bunch of ki? Wait, no way. Even my Ika series doesn't get that far-fetched. There is just no way Naruto could pull that off. Little did Jiraiya know that he wasn't far off, and that the copy of Ika Uzumaki Chronicles would have been the best-selling book he would ever write, ever. Oh well, looks like G3R man will have to pick up the slack with his fiction instead, hee hee. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.